Mr. Harper, thank you again for agreeing to an interview. It's about Jimmy Savile and his visits to Jersey. Is there anything new you can tell us about his visits to Jersey and his alleged abuse over here that hasn't been said already?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I knew very little about his specific activities in Jersey. I don't think there's any doubt that Jimmy Savile was a savage sexual predator and his victims were young, vulnerable children. I don't think there's any doubt about that now, and from the evidence that's emerging, he was obviously active in Jersey. And we all had our suspicions about that, and we had some knowledge of him during the inquiry in 2008, but not enough to even go and question him. But as far as he's concerned, no, I've nothing new that I can add. I suppose the only thing I would add is that the spotlight is now shining on his activities in Jersey. In the UK, that spotlight has moved also to those who were encouraging him, who were covering up for him, and who knew about his activities. And I think that sooner or later, and hopefully sooner, that the same spotlight will shine on those in Jersey who obviously were encouraging him and protecting him there as well.
That's the sort of angle we've been looking at. Is Jimmy Savile's dead, and you've said it before, he's no longer a harm to children. Shouldn't the questions be asked, you as a policeman, I suppose, would say, who invited him to Jersey? Who were his contacts in Jersey? Why was he invited to Jersey? Who invited him to Hotel de la Garenne? Why is this the place, do you think, we should be looking at now?
Yes, undoubtedly. I mean, he all accounts went back and forward to Jersey fairly regularly, and if you listen to some of the accounts, he was feted as a VIP, and that doesn't surprise me because he did have many connections to royalty. And as I've said somewhere else, you just look at the Jersey authorities; they tend to fawn over anybody with connections to royalty, and they seem to like that sort of thing. So Jimmy Savile would have been seen very much as a VIP. I'm told that he was even Mr. Battle of the Flowers on one or two occasions. So I think, yes, I mean, he obviously kept getting invites over to Jersey, and he obviously kept getting these official invitations, and invitations to places like Hotel de la Garenne. And I think that it's inconceivable that people in authority at these homes and these institutions did not know what he was doing. I just find that impossible to believe.
Same as most of us, we think this is where the investigation should be going now. Let's hope it does. Which brings us on to yesterday on State Radio. You said the Savile inquiry would have to be dealt with by an outside or independent police force, not the state of Jersey police. Now, some come away with the impression that this was an attack on the state of Jersey police. Was it?
No, and I'm not sure if the BBC actually emphasised what I'd said properly. In no way was it an attack on the States of Jersey Police. I have the highest regard for the States of Jersey Police. The vast majority of officers in the States of Jersey Police are professional, they're honest, they're as good as anywhere else that I've seen, and nothing that I've seen since I left has given me any cause to doubt that. Like any police force, it has one or two who they could be doing well to get rid of. But I have a very, very high regard. It's not the States of Jersey Police that are the problem. It's, for instance, the current Home Affairs Minister and the rest of the government. The current Home Affairs Minister has made it clear he wants to take political control of the States of Jersey Police. From my own experience, I know how hard it was to do anything without the politicians, certain politicians, hammering on your door trying to set the agenda. Even for operational matters, they're trying to set the agenda. That's where the big problem lies. The States of Jersey Police have got a lot of expertise, but the government in Jersey are determined to wrest control of that. And no matter how effective and how strong you are, you're going to suffer from that. And they've got a huge vested interest. They've tried so hard to cover up the child abuse. They've tried so hard to discredit the victims. They've tried so hard to discredit those who are working on behalf of the victims. And there's a long, long list of those, aren't there? You know, you go right back to Simon Bellwood, Stuart Silvery, myself and Graham Power, and of course the latest, Trevor Pittman, who's under savage attack since he dared to even raise the possibility that they might have been up to shenanigans over the BDO inquiry. So it's not the States of Jersey Police are the problem, it's political masters who are trying to manoeuvre them at every turn.
The comment about the independent police force and everything seemed to make headline news yesterday. That's what they took out of your interview on the BBC radio, was the independent police force coming in. There are those of us who believe possibly the biggest revelation that you made yesterday was that there are suspects from your inquiry. Remember, you're the senior investigating officer of this child abuse inquiry. That the biggest revelation was that there are still people employed in the care system that was suspect in your inquiry. Can you elaborate any on that?
Yeah, absolutely. There are a number of them, and obviously I can't name names or give any clues as to who they might be, but there was one in particular who Eileen Fairweather, I think, spoke about in her article in the Telegraph on Saturday, who caused absolute fear amongst victims when his name was mentioned. And I had very, very strong evidence against him, evidence that would have seen him prosecuted in the UK. I have got absolutely no doubt about that. But he wasn't prosecuted. The Attorney General at the time decided that the evidence didn't meet his criteria for similar fact evidence. Now, that man's still in a senior position today, despite the fact that I had that evidence. But leave aside the evidence, I also disclosed to the authorities in Jersey a heck of a lot more than evidence. I disclosed an awful lot of intelligence and the contents of a number of witness statements, I think in excess of a dozen, all of which accused this man of abuse.
So a dozen statements, from a dozen different people about this one particular person?
Yes. I disclosed that to the authorities in Jersey. Not all of it was strong enough to stand as evidence in its own right, but it was all intelligence, which is what disclosure is all about. You disclose material which you believe to be true and which is relevant and which is disclosed to the protection of children. That's why I disclosed it, to protect children. It seems very little action was taken because the man is still there and he's still working in a responsible position and he's still working in the child care system. So that, I think, is the spotlight that all of this needs to be falling on. And we go back again to those protecting, encouraging and covering up for the child abusers. The victims are the ones who are being targeted by the Jersey government, and the abusers are the ones who are being protected. Everybody can see that. Everybody can see that, but the Jersey government really don't give a damn. They are so sure of their own invincibility that anybody who dares to speak against them immediately gets their guns turned on them.